let's talk offense. All right, we're going to spend some time on this. We'll get to Breece Hall. We'll get to Garrett Wilson. We'll get to the offensive line, absolutely. But I do want to start, and I don't want people to start going hysteria and all that stuff, because I think that it's hard to discuss any team's offense and not talk about the quarterback. And if there is a concern right now, and I think you and I probably share this, Justin Fields throughout this summer has left much to be desired. And I got in an argument with NYJ Mike and NYJ Matt about this in our little text chain, because they were like, oh, it's preseason. Oh, it's 5 throws. Oh, how can you say this? How can you say this? I think people forget that we see these guys every single day in training camp. For me, I see him 60% of the time. Zack, you are there every single day. Fields as an athlete, there is no denying what this guy is capable of. He is an elite player in that regard. Fields as a leader is elite in that regard. People do respect him. People do gravitate towards him. He's not somebody that has to stand in a room and be like, I'm a leader. He's not somebody that's a rah-rah guy, but when he talks, people listen. What he does, people follow. That's the type of player he is. The problem is that I think we are seeing, and we have seen, why the Bears gave up on him, why the Steelers gave up on him. There is, when he is asked to play quarterback, when he has to stretch the ball down the field, when he is in passing situations, not 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, 2nd and 4s, there are immense limitations. There was a stretch there where I know he came back from the injury. He was completing like 53% of his passes in practices. Like the 10 to 24, I know it was in the rain. Still, you kind of make a note of that because it's more of what we've seen. And I go back to that game against the Giants, Zack, and those passes that he threw, the incompletions. The curl, well, yeah, Paulson Adebo was all over Garrett Wilson. The throw was late. That's why Paulson was able to get in there. The throw on the slant to Garrett Wilson was behind him. Like there are throws like that where you're like, NFL quarterback's got to hit that. NFL quarterback's got to hit that, where he just isn't. But I don't think, and you can expand on this, Zack, like Darren Muji's watching the same practices that we are. Aaron Glenn, despite what he's saying atop a podium, watching the same practices we are. Tanner Engstrand, watching the same practices we are. I can't imagine the Jets are ignorant to Fields' limitations.
Yeah, so it's such an interesting conversation around Fields, because I think there's been some pushback on like the way we cover him, because, they didn't draft him in the first round. Like, why are we, reporting on every single thing he does? Well, we're going to report on every single thing we see at each practice. But in terms of like the Fields, like this is who he's been in the NFL. He's, like you said, he's an elite athlete. He has really good arm strength. He can make some impressive throws. He's struggled with processing, and he's not someone who's going to like fit it into tight windows. And sometimes you question his decisions. But so it's kind of twofold. What we've seen in these preseason games, he's averaging 3.9 air yards per attempt. And I know it's only 9 attempts, so that's, don't go too crazy about that. But, how are the Jets going to do with Justin Fields when they are trailing in games and they have to throw the ball? Can Justin Fields lead them down the field when they're down 13-3 and the defense knows they have to throw it? Is he able to throw it down the field? The time to practice those moments is in the preseason, and it is in practice. Like we watched these drives, and I know it was really, really rainy on Wednesday when we were at practice, but they were doing these long drives where they were running it almost every play, and I know that's what they wanted to do. But like in a game situation where you have to go the full length of the field and you're trailing and it's the fourth quarter, like you're not gonna be able to run it every play. You're just not. The odds of that working all season long are pretty slim. But at the same time, like I do think this is gonna be a very effective rushing attack. I think he's gonna have weeks where he looks really good. I think that it's too early to say like this is what he's going to be. Like he could come out in week 1 and maybe they have something they've been hiding from us at these walkthrough practices that we're not allowed to watch. Maybe they're airing it out, and maybe that's going to look a little different when these games start and the Jets finally unlocked it. But I think ultimately they're trying to cultivate a system where Justin Fields does not have to think. He just goes out and goes where he's supposed to go. He goes through his progressions, and when those aren't there, he dumps it off. He runs. I think we have a clip of this, but he had a quote the other day that we can get into. But let's play the clip because I think it kind of ties all into this.
We're fine with taking 8-yard completions every play, if I'm being honest with you. Of course, you want explosives, but like I said Saturday, we're not going to force the ball downfield.
Yeah, I mean, I would be great with 8-yard completions too every play, but the problem is that's not happening. You know what I mean? It's not the 8-yard completions. We haven't seen that from Fields. And again, I know that some fans are going to listen to this and be like, oh my God, it's negative Connor. Oh my God, it's negative Zack. Oh my God, it's the negative media because, it's just the preseason. But what I stress is like we have seen this every day. We have. And running the ball is going to be very clearly an emphasis for this team. And I do believe that if the Jets are playing ahead of the stick, Zack, they're going to be fine. Like, because Justin Fields in a 3rd and 3 situation is as deadly as any quarterback in the NFL. I'm not exaggerating in that because the way that he runs with the ball, the physicality that he possesses, I mean, it's him and Lamar are the two most talented and gifted runners of the football at the quarterback position. They are that good. I mean, I think because of his physicality, I put him even above Jaden Daniels. Like, he's a freak. It's the errant throws when he just needs to throw. Like, it's accuracy problems. It's the timidness to stretch down the field. You can't just live by dinking and dunking, and that seems to be what the Jets are trying to do. What I will say, though, Zack, is that one of the reasons why they feel confident in being able to dink and dunk is that they feel like they have a strength. They feel like they have a bread and butter. And maybe the last couple years under Saleh and at times with LaFleur, certainly with the disaster that Nathaniel Hackett was, this team never really had an identity. And they have now built something where that first series he had in the preseason game opener against the Packers, that's what I think they're going to want to do throughout. And I think that they feel confident in their ability to do that because of what they have at their disposal at the running back position, where they can dink and dunk because they feel confident that on first down, Breece Hall is going to get them 3 to 4. On second down, Braelon Allen is going to get them 3 to 4. And suddenly they are in that 3rd and 2 situation. And I'll be honest with you, watching training camp, watching the joint practices against the Giants, watching some of these preseason games, I have my concerns at quarterback. Absolutely. I don't have any concerns at the running back position of the Jets' ability to run the ball. I think that grouping of Braelon Allen and Breece Hall and also Isaiah Davis has the ability to be as good as the Detroit Lions rushing attack. Is the line going to be as good as Detroit? I don't know, but they're going to be able to run the ball, especially against inferior competition. And I think, you might agree with me on this one, Zack. I think that Braelon Allen, I know everyone likes to talk about Breece Hall because there was so much hype early in his career. Don't tell Brian Costello. I think Braelon Allen might be the Jets' best running back. Like I really think he is that good, and he can catch too. People are like, oh, Breece can catch. So can Braelon. We've seen Braelon make some catches where he is a hell of a find by Joe Douglas last year.
You know, I'll say, like you said, the strength, the running backs. I do think the offensive line is a strength, or at least more of a strength than it's been. I know that's not a tall order, but like run blocking wise, I think they've been really, really good. Pass blocking has been inconsistent. They have been shuffling through the centers, Josh Myers and Joe Tippmann competing. I think it'll ultimately be Joe Tippmann. I do think that group up front is really, really good, and they're going to be really good at opening up those lanes. And Braelon has been more impressive, to your point, at like hitting those holes and exploding through them. I mean, he looks faster and stronger than like everybody on the field when we watch him. And I bought fully into him last year. He got to the season. He wasn't really producing. And then they kind of got away from him too quick. And then they were the 32nd rushing attack in the NFL. I've been saying this all summer, right? They were 32nd, and I really believe there's a chance we might end this year and they're number 1 in rushing. But that kind of, like, to tie back to our original part of this conversation, like, the games this team is going to win this year, they're not going to score 35 points, and it's not going to be a 35-31, barn burner. It's going to be the Jets win 10-7, the Jets win 13-7, the Jets win 13-10. Like, that's how they have to win these games. So when they go out in that first drive, like, I think we'll be able to tell how these games are going to go a lot of times. Because if they can go and score in their first drives or get a field goal, and you can kind of control the clock a bit, that's going to be where they can dominate. And then that sets up the pass, and that sets up your ability to throw it down the field. The receivers are an issue. We'll probably get into that in a minute. But like that, the path of this team being good is they control the time of possession. They run the ball down the other team's throat, and they don't really fall behind, which is kind of a tall order for a team that has a lot of holes.